10 years. Every single paycheck. Not when the market looked good. Not when I felt financially confident. Not when everything made sense and the future felt clear. Every paycheck. Including the ones that came during market crashes. Including the ones that came when my account balance had dropped significantly from its peak. Including the ones that came during the months when investing felt like the most pointless exercise imaginable. I'm going to tell you what actually happened over 10 years of doing this. Not the inspirational version. Not the version that sounds good in a YouTube thumbnail. The real version, with real numbers, real doubts, real moments where I almost stopped. Because the honest story is the useful one. The setup. Why every paycheck? 24 years old. First real salary, $58,000 annually. Take home roughly $3,600 monthly. I made one decision before I did anything else with that income. Every paycheck. Before the money hit my checking account, an automatic transfer would move a fixed amount to investment accounts. Not a percentage. I'd calculate each month. A fixed automatic transfer, set once, run forever. The amount, $700 monthly, split between a Roth IRA and a taxable brokerage account. After capturing my employer's full 401k match, $700 monthly on a $3,600 take-home, roughly 19% of take-home. My monthly budget, $2,900 for everything else. Rent shared with a roommate. No car payment. Simple food. Simple life. The reason for automation was not discipline. It was the recognition that I didn't trust myself to make the right decision every month when I could see the money sitting in my account available to spend. Automation removed the decision from my hands. The system ran without asking my permission. That choice to automate before I could interfere turned out to be the most important financial decision I made in my 20s. Years 1 and 2, when it felt pointless. End of year 1 had contributed approximately $8,400. Account view approximately $9,100. Market had added $700. $700 on $8,400 in contributions. Less than 9% gain on a year's worth of disciplined saving. That number did not feel like evidence of anything working. It felt like a joke. $700 would not change my life. $700 was 1 month of rent. $700 was nothing in the context of the retirement I was supposedly building. Year 2 was worse emotionally. The market had a significant correction partway through. My account, which had grown to approximately $12,000, dropped to approximately $9,500. $2,500 of losses. On an account I'd been carefully building for over a year. Everything in me wanted to stop. Not permanently, just temporarily. Just until things stabilized. Just until it made more sense to keep putting money in. The transfer happened anyway. Automatically. Without my input. New money bought shares at lower prices. While everything in me felt like it was a mistake. By end of year 2 I had contributed approximately $16,800. Total. Account value, approximately $17,400. The market had recovered and added slightly above my contributions. Not impressive, but intact. Years 3 through 5. The first signs. Something started shifting in year 3. Nothing dramatic. Just a number that caught my attention. My annual investment returns that year were approximately $1,800. I had contributed $8,400 in new money that year. The returns were about 21% of my contributions. Still dominated by my contributions, but for the first time, the portfolio was doing visible work alongside me. Year 4 I got a raise. Salary moved to $69,000. I increased the automatic transfer from $700 to $900 monthly, before adjusting my lifestyle budget. The lifestyle didn't change. The investment rate did. Year 5, portfolio crossed $50,000 for the first time. At $50,000, 7% annual return produces $3,500. That's nearly $300 monthly coming from investment returns rather than my paycheck. I was contributing $900 monthly. The portfolio was generating returns equivalent to a third of my monthly contribution. The ratio had shifted from irrelevant to noticeable. The market crash that tested everything. Year 6, the market dropped significantly over several months. My portfolio, which had grown to approximately $72,000, declined to approximately $58,000. $14,000 erased. On paper, in a few months. This was different from the earlier correction. The numbers were larger, the decline was steeper, the news was louder. People around me were talking about whether to get out. I did not stop the automatic transfers. Not because I was certain everything would be fine. I wasn't certain. Not because I had superior emotional control. I didn't. Because the transfer was automatic and stopping it required active intervention, I trained myself not to make. During those months of decline, my automatic transfers bought shares at the lowest prices I'd seen in years. Not because I was smart enough to buy the dip intentionally. Because the system kept running while my emotions were screaming at me to stop. When the market recovered 18 months later, the shares bought during the decline generated returns significantly above average. The crash that felt like a disaster produced some of my best investment outcomes. Not because I was brave. Because the system didn't require bravery. Years 7 through 9, compounding becomes real. Year 7, portfolio value approximately $110,000. Annual returns at 7%, approximately $7,700. Annual contributions, approximately $10,800. Returns were 71% of contributions. The portfolio was nearly matching my new money with returns. Year 8, got another raise. Directed half to increased contributions. Monthly transfer now $1,200. Annual contributions approximately $14,400. Portfolio grew to approximately $140,000. Annual returns approximately $9,800. Year 9, portfolio approximately $175,000. Annual returns approximately $12,200. Annual contributions $14,400. The returns were 85% of my annual contributions. Something was about to happen that I'd read about, but never fully believed would happen to me specifically. Year 10, the number. End of year 10. Total contributions across 10 years. Approximately $104,000. Portfolio value, approximately $212,000. The market had added approximately $108,000 to my $104,000 in contributions. More money from investment returns than from 10 years of my actual paychecks. Let that land for a moment. I worked for 10 years. I saved consistently. I contributed $104,000 of real money earned through actual work. And the market contributed more than that. $108,000 created by my money working, not by me working. In year 10, specifically, my contributions were approximately $14,400. My portfolio returns were approximately $14,900. The crossover had happened. Returns exceeded contributions for the first time. The machine had become self-sustaining. What I got wrong. I want to be honest about the mistakes, because they're instructive. I didn't increase contributions aggressively enough in years 1 and 2. The money invested in year 1 has 10 years to compound. It's worth dramatically more than money invested in year 9. I treated all years equally. Year 1 deserved more capital than I gave it. I held too much in cash. During years 4 and 5, I had a savings account balance above what a reasonable emergency fund required. That excess cash was earning 2% while the market produced significantly more. Fear of not having enough buffer kept me from investing capital that would have compounded for 6 more years. I checked my portfolio too often in the early years. Daily checking during market declines is financially harmless if you don't act on it, but it's psychologically costly. The anxiety consumed energy that produced nothing useful. What actually mattered? 3 things determined the outcome. Starting before I felt ready. I didn't wait until I understood everything. I didn't wait until the market looked calm. I started with incomplete knowledge and built understanding through experience. Waiting for readiness is how people delay starting by years. Automation that removed human decision-making from the process. The months I would have stopped investing due to market fear The system kept running. The returns from those months of continued investing during declines were above average. The system protected me from myself, directing income increases to investments before lifestyle could claim them. Every raise went to contributions first. Lifestyle stayed flat relative to income. The investment rate grew as income grew. If I'd let lifestyle absorb each raise the way most people do, the 10-year number would be dramatically lower. 10 years, 104,000 contributed, 212,000 in the account. Not retirement, not financial independence yet, but the machine is running. The crossover happened. Returns now exceed contributions. Year 11 starts with 212,000 already compounding. The returns in year 11 will exceed anything year 1 produced in absolute dollar terms. The boring truth about 10 years of investing every paycheck: it felt pointless for longer than it should have. The market tested me twice with significant declines. The numbers were invisible for years before they became visible. And then the math that everyone describes in theory became real in my actual account. The machine works. It just requires not stopping it. Automate it. Don't stop it. Direct raises to it before lifestyle claims them. Then let time do what time does. That's the entire story. That's the entire strategy.